If you don't hustle together, you're not friends.
What are your thoughts on investing in crypto?
I would consider putting a couple dollars into it when it crashes, which is not where it's currently at. I'm not big on it. It's largely like gambling. Also, as Warren Buffett says, and Mark, you may have heard this quotation, by the time the shoe shine boy knows what stock is a good stock, the market is about to crash. And what that means is that when information becomes common, meaning common people, average people know about it, it's not a good investment, because the way you make money in investing is having insider knowledge, knowing things nobody else knows. Like when Apple's first starting, you're like, dang, this is a good computer. Their hardware is excellent. They're run by a genius named Steve Jobs. Like, I know this is going to blow up. That's when you invest, when no one else knows that. And you know that because maybe you're a computer engineer and you are able to understand things that others don't. You have insider knowledge. But by the time the shoe shine boy and the barber is talking about cryptocurrency and my mom's talking about cryptocurrency, you'd be a fool to put any money in.
And that can't be any more true. I promise to God, because, oh my goodness, like when people do start knowing, it's like YouTube. Like beforehand, when I was a kid, like 12 years old, getting on YouTube, no one wanted to be a YouTuber. You were looked down upon trying to do YouTube at 12, like, well, 2007, right? And then when more people got on this bad boy, you watch that AdSense just go down. Like it was like you used to get paid like a lot of money for just a little bit of views. Now it takes a whole lot of views or being in the selected program, the premium program, to actually get money out of this now. Yeah.
I like how you put that. And another thing I want to talk about, the next new thing after crypto is NFTs.
And this is already a bad idea. This is like, it already sounds like it's bad. Like what? I don't know. This all sounds like a scam.
Right. Yeah. And here's the thing about crypto and NFTs is that any given initial coin offering or NFT could be a scam, or it could be a legitimate investment. And most of you don't know if you're not sophisticated. And so to help you guys out, if you really are about something, my buddy Seth, who's one of my engineers, he's been one of my software engineers for a number of different products and companies. He's going to come out. I'm bringing this expert here. He literally used to work for some of the Fortune 50 companies, some of the biggest companies on earth in the aerospace industry, you know, the ones that make the commercial airlines as well as the warplanes that blow stuff up when you act crazy. So the man is a genius. So he said, he's like, Marquette, I'll create an NFT just to show them what it is. So I'll create a Marquette NFT for everyone. And I'll also explain the underlying technology. I'll explain the business proposition. And I'll also explain the scamming to everyone so that they can understand the whole
process,
the whole thing. Yeah. So he'll be at the conference and he'll be going through the whole NFT thing if you actually want to understand it. But long story short, if you're not a technologist, you don't have a background in technology, like you should probably stay away from it. I don't think it's a good idea for you.
Yeah. You know, it's always funny. I feel like people should like look more into like everyday appliances. Cause like, you know, what's crazy? I looked at my Tesla and I was like, what graphic card is in here? And I was like, oh, NVIDIA. And I was like, oh, I've seen this inside my laptop, this and that. And I was like, no one knows that NVIDIA is like the dominant like graphic card company. Right. Like if you ask yourself like little questions like that, that's not a common thing that people know about graphic cards. And every time a Tesla has to be built, that graphic card has to be used. Pretty sure every other car company will have to use NVIDIA graphic cards in order to like do certain processing. I'm like, they have like a color changing car, but I'm like, you should educate yourself more on technology. Cause I don't know. I feel like people don't truly understand parts in technology.
You don't invest your money in the things you don't understand. That's investment number one. Like if you don't understand a technology, if you don't understand a product, you are a fool to put your money into it. What's happening is people are playing follow the follower. So they're not following a leader, they're following a follower.
Yeah.
Your cousin, your buddy, your barber then invested in crypto and they're claiming they made 10,000, $1 million when they really are still broke. And you're following a follower who is not knowledgeable. So I think that you're totally right. People need to start studying and paying attention.
Ray Lamont, Saint, how can one meet more successful and like-minded people?
That's a good question. You know what's crazy? I remember the first time I really ever chimed in to talk to you was asking you, where do I find more successful people like myself? Because I had a hard time finding them. And I was like the only person I knew. And I was like, man, like it's hard to feel motivated when you're the one motivating everyone. Who motivates the motivators? You know, that's a good question. At this point, I think I got a couple places, but this is the man you want to talk to for real, for real.
Mm.
I can give 2 things,
Yeah,
but
hit 'em.
all right, look, I'm gonna say like not first class on a plane. I've noticed a lot of broke people can get to first class,
Mm.
but I noticed a lot of people who are wealthy do the class behind that. I think it's business, right?
Business class. Okay.
Right. And
Mhm.
I actually met I met a guy, he owned like some company, wanted to be an investor in me, and his wife was like an executive at one of the hotels. And I was like, wow, and they love me. And I met the whole family. And I met a lot of great people like in that section, but never in first class though.
Mm.
Never in first class.
Mm.
I don't know why, but always a class behind. So I started just going like the one behind business.
Mm.
Then where else have I met people? Oh, I say once you find one successful friend, they will have a group of them. As I've met Mark, you know,
Right.
yeah. Like I've now met Mark, and I'm like, Mark's a cool guy. He's great. And I met him through Marquette. And I think who else have I met through you? Was anybody else?
We'd have to go through. I mean, at the conference, there's a whole bunch of people together who are successful making
There
boss
was.
moves. I mean, one guy even brought his employee.
Oh,
the Saints in
yeah,
Texas,
yeah.
brought his employee with him. And the conference is one place I really try to facilitate that experience. And I was just talking to a Saint who's in Canada last night, actually, or yesterday morning on a consultation, and we're doing a product together. We're doing a tech product. And when we're doing that tech product, I was like, you know what? There's another Saint on the East Coast who's an engineer. Let me bring him in on this. And then the Saint I was talking to yesterday, he said, you know, you introduced me to so-and-so, the engineer. He's like, man, like we wake up at 6 a.m. every day. We get our workout in and every day. We tap in with each other to see how the exercise is going, and we do product together. So I just want to thank you for introducing me. So the number one thing I want to let you know is the work. Get to work, and that will bring you linkages. One thing you'll notice about successful and productive people is they work together.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing right now?
Working together.
We're working together. That's number one, the work. Number two, if you haven't read my book, The Black Box, please reread that section about Nick the Hustler, where he told you, he said, if you don't hustle together, you're not friends.
That's facts.
I keep repeating that. And if you haven't read my book, I'm mad at you. Not because you didn't give me $8, but because you are missing out on an infinite source of information. Mark, who's over there, that's my good friend that I've known for a very long time now. We were talking to those females, and they're like, dang, y'all know each other that long? How old are y'all? We talked to these little 21-year-old hoes. But that being the case, Mark and I have built a lot of stuff together. We've built a whole fraternity together, and we're still building together. I mean, right now, he's working the soundboard for us. Hopefully, if you're privileged, you'll see him at this next conference. He's going to be talking about fulfillment by Amazon, because that's a process he's mastered. Mark, tell him on the microphone, what's your goal with Amazon?
Well, I have a goal to get to 300,000 a month in sales.
Let me repeat that. No, Mark, you repeat that.
Of 2022.
You repeat that for these people, Mark.
300,000 a month in sales.
Now, let me say that for you guys a third time. He's trying to make $300,000 a month. Now, let me tell you something about mentality, and this is what pisses me off, and this is why I hate being around broke people. And no disrespect to anybody. And that's why I'm glad you guys are listening to me. I can't even comprehend what your life is like when you're telling me, oh, you know, Quet, I'm trying to make $10,000 this month. And my brain did the same thing, Loki. I was like, see, if I have a friend who's trying to make $300,000 this month and you're trying to make $10,000 this month, we're on two different planets. We're on two different planets. I appreciate you trying to upgrade because you got to take steps. But I want you to understand when you got a guy trying to make $300,000 a month and other people are trying to make $100,000 a year just so they can say they make six figures, we're on different planets. But here's the thing. Mark has certain experience that I don't have. I have certain experience that he doesn't have. And the beauty is that we get to bring that to bear during the conference so that you guys can get access to this knowledge. Because before we cut this live session on, we're talking about real estate. And Mark really is serious about real estate. I actually just did a deal myself, not with Mark, a separate deal. But anyways, Mark bought a property for a little under $800,000. How much is that property worth now?
It's either 2.5 or 3 million.
2.5 to 3 million.
That's crazy.
2.5 million to 3 million. That's a good deal. You should want to be around people like that. And that's why, now let me say one more note for these people who are broke. And there's nothing wrong with not having money. When I say broke, I'm talking about mentality.
Mm-hmm.
There was a person who on the comments said, Marquette, your conference is $649. That's a lot of money. Why is it so much? This man is trying to make $300,000 a month. Do you think he wants to be around broke people? No. And if he's trying to make $300,000 a month and you can't afford $649 to go to a conference that's going to benefit you infinitely and it's multi-days and it's from morning to night and you can't pay $649, you won't benefit from anything he's saying because he's on a planet that's so far away from you. Like if he says something, you're going to think it's fake. Like a dumb broad, if there were some females in here and they just met Mark and they don't know nothing about his background and he said, they said, how much money do you make or what's your goal in life? And he said, I'm trying to make $300,000. They're like, oh yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah, you trying to make 6 figures a year? It's like, no. This month. They would think he was playing games.
They do.
Because they're broke and they can't imagine what that life is like.
So you got the same mindset as a broad.
You feel me? So I say that to say, like, you have to do what it takes to put yourself in position. You have to make investments of time. You have to take risks. You have to do work. You have to have skills. That's what you got to do. And he sent in a $5 question and I didn't give you $1,000 answer. You dig? That's love.